Hey INFJs, do you sometimes feel that there's like a barrier that happens between your brain and your mouth when you want to share your feelings? Especially when you're in a situation that just isn't right for you, or you're unhappy, or you feel that you're taken advantage of and you want to share how you're feeling, and you go to do it and you just can't. It's like you draw a blank and there's no words there to describe what you're feeling, so nothing changes, and it's so frustrating. This happens to me. And I used to think I was the only one that this happened to, but I have discovered that this is very common for INFJs, especially INFJs who are ASD, who are on the autism spectrum. This is a very, very common struggle for us. So if this is you, stick around. You might find this interesting. If we haven't met before, my name's Trina Brentnell. I'm an INFJ and I'm also ASD. So I'm on the autism spectrum, and I like showing up and sharing things that have helped me over the years to live a fuller and happier life. Not just surviving, start thriving. So I hope you find my channel helpful. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you. So now a lot of autistic INFJs struggle with this. Autistic individuals on their own struggle with being able to communicate their feelings. It's a common struggle. You put this with INFJ and it really becomes a huge, huge struggle. Reason being is because both, when you're on the spectrum and an INFJ, we both have very complex inner worlds. So mixing that together, our world becomes even more complex inside our head. It's very, very busy, right? So when we feel our emotions, those emotions, we're feeling them very deeply, more deeply. We're feeling them deeper than most other people. That's how I'm going to say it. And we have a hard time putting into words exactly how we're feeling, to be able to describe it for somebody to understand it. And oftentimes, there just aren't any words that can describe how we're feeling, right? Now put this together, keeping this in mind, that this is a struggle, is there's no words to describe how deeply we feel our emotions. Now put this with the fact that we are also conscious about the words that we use. We are very conscious about how they are received by the other person, right? We fear misunderstandings. We fear being judged. We fear being criticized. So we are very conscious about the wording we use. So now you mix those two things together, those deep emotions that we can't find words to describe, and then our consciousness about, we're very self-conscious about the words that we're trying to use. And this leads to overthinking. It leads us to overthinking, which INFJs, we are great at anyway, but it will lead us to overthinking, which will also lead us to hesitation, right? I don't know about you, but when I get stuck in the overthinking mode, that's all that exists around me, is I get super laser focused. Now this might be my ASD coming through, but I get super laser focused on one subject, whatever, and maybe it's not even the subject. Maybe it's an issue coming up, or like in this case, somebody that I feel is crossing a boundary and it's making me uncomfortable. I will get super focused on that for days, and that's all I will think about, and I will overthink it. And I will talk myself out of addressing it. It will cause hesitation. I'll talk myself out of it. I will start negative self-talk. Mix that all together, and of course, I'm not going to find the words to be able to express myself anyway. This is a big issue, especially when I'm trying to set boundaries, and boundaries are very crucial for an INFJ. We need to be able to set and enforce healthy boundaries. I mean, boundaries are our eternal line of self-protection for an INFJ, right? Without boundaries, we cannot live our happy, fulfilling life because we're constantly being taken advantage of, right? We're people pleasers. That's what we are. We love to have harmony around us. We like to keep people happy around us. So of course we need to have boundaries, not just so that other people can't cross them, but we need boundaries for us as well, our inside, our internal world, so that we know that, okay, you know what? I'm done now. I'm tired. I can't go on any further. I don't know about you, but for me, I will push and push and push and not even realize that I have given too much until I'm burnt out, till I'm at the very end. When I was able to establish my boundaries, I could identify, okay, oh no, you know what? I know this feeling that I'm having now. I may not be able to explain what I'm having, but I know this feeling and I know that I'm at my limit. I can't do anymore. And it's a simple way to express how you're feeling, right? This will do, if we can't set boundaries, clearly identify and maintain our healthy boundaries, it directly impacts our lifestyle. Every aspect of our lifestyle, from relationships to the jobs that we're choosing, to the hobbies that we choose, which doesn't sound like that's important, but actually it is. Hobbies or creative outlets for an INFJ is huge for us to find a happy and fulfilling life. We need that because of our busy inner world. It impacts everything, right? And for hobbies or our creative outlets, without boundaries, we're doing what everybody else is doing. We're doing what maybe our spouse wants to do, whatever their interests are, or our kids, whatever their interests are. We're not doing what it is that we want to do, and we can't clearly express how we're feeling. And that's huge because we lose who we are. I thought I would throw that in there because you're probably wondering, well, why is it important for boundaries, or hobbies? But it truly is. Without being able to communicate who we are, we can't, or how we're feeling, we can't set and maintain those boundaries. So we're constantly feeling used, taken advantage of. Overwhelmed is a huge one. This is huge for me. I would always get overwhelmed because, again, like I said earlier, I was overextending myself, right? Because I couldn't clearly identify or share with people how I was feeling. So I would just continue to keep giving and giving and giving. And it didn't work for me. I don't know if you've ever been, I would imagine overwhelm is a big thing for INFJs. And it also is huge for INFJs with ASD. Overwhelm is a bad place for us, and I'm sure that you've experienced it. It is not a good feeling. The longest overwhelm, it led to burnout. The longest one that I had lasted 1.5 years. It took me to recoup from that because I burnt myself out so bad. And it was due to overextending myself, not having boundaries, clear boundaries, not being able to express how I was feeling, and that sort of thing. So if this interests you, it is an interesting topic, and it is something that we really struggle with, and it's super important. I am teaching a boot camp specific for INFJs and boundaries. And I'm very excited about this. Very, very excited. It goes for 2 days, 2 Saturdays towards the end of June. June 22nd and June 29th is when I'm running it. We will learn effective communication skills that will help enforce boundaries and in comfortable ways. So we're not feeling awkward. We're not feeling that we're letting people down or disappointing them. Learn why saying no is so hard for INFJs, and also help you develop a personalized boundary plan, which is very, very helpful. So if you're interested in this, follow my link. I'll put my link in the comments and in the description of my video. I hope I can put it in both of those. I'm not very techie, but I'm pretty sure I can. But if I can't, go over to my bio and follow the link in my bio if this interests you. But it is frustrating when we cannot express how we're feeling. One thing that has really helped me with this is stepping back and observing how I'm feeling. Okay? It sounds crazy. I talk about doing this lots in my video because it's very important for an INFJ to do this. Step out of, I like to say step out of your body, which sounds crazy, but what I'm saying is just step back and observe what's going on. Notice those feelings, notice those emotions, right? Notice the patterns of when you're having those feelings. Oh, okay, I'm feeling this way. This is what's going on. We can start identifying those feelings then, right? Those emotions we're having. Journal about it. Start writing them down. It's a little bit of work, but to get to where we want to be with our happy, fulfilling life, it is going to take us a little bit of work, and we can do work. So write it down, journal. Okay, I'm having this feeling. This was going on. This is what the outcome was, and start identifying those feelings, those emotions on your own. It's huge. When you start doing that, it gets easier to identify, oh, I'm having this feeling. So then when we need to express, this is how I'm feeling, it's easier to do that because we've already identified that feeling. Lots of times we don't even really know how we're feeling because we're feeling it so deeply because we haven't taken the time to really pay attention, embrace that feeling, and identify what it is. What emotion is that, right? I mean, there's the basic emotions, sadness, whatever it may be. I'm not going to read the whole list of basic emotions. They're like I like to think of them as spectrums because there's so many different levels of each of those emotions we can feel. And when we feel them deeply, we could be way over here on the spectrum feeling it. And sadness really isn't describing how we're feeling inside when we're going to explode, right? You get the idea? So it's very helpful to journal about it and identify your own emotions and use words for you that are comfortable for you to explain for yourself in your journal how it is you're feeling. From those words that you're using, your description of how you're feeling, you'll be able to figure out how you can express your feelings clearly to other people when you need to. You don't have to do it all the time because that's uncomfortable for some of us, especially if you're on the autism spectrum. Expressing those feelings are very uncomfortable for us. You don't have to do it all the time. But when there's a boundary violation, it's very important to express how you're feeling. So we need to know how to express those. And that is one of the best ways I found to do that is get curious about how you're feeling, pay attention to it, let yourself feel it, start identifying, notice the patterns, notice those triggers. What were you doing? And write it down. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please give me the thumbs up. Like my video, the more times it's liked and shared, the more INFJs we can help. And really that's what it's all about. And I invite you to subscribe to my channel as well. Again, if you're interested in my bootcamp, specifically tailored for INFJs, follow the link below or in my profile. And there's more information in there. Anyway, thanks for joining me and I hope this was helpful and I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.